Hi, Claudia.
Hi.
I understand that you have had your children going through this program.
Yes.
I'd like to get some feedback from you and how you feel about the program. Could you tell me in your own words what this program did for you, for your children?
I had two children in the program, two totally different situations, and to me this program was a total miracle. My youngest son, at the time he might have been in 5th grade, maybe 10, he was diagnosed with ADD, and right away the neurologist said, Ritalin, put him on medication. It took my husband and I about 6 months to determine whether or not to put him on medication. We thought we'd give it a try because there was so much pressure in the school to do it. So he did well, but there was always in the back of my mind, is this the best thing for him? And he also had side effects. He couldn't sleep at night. He was bouncing off the walls. He complained of dizziness. We tried Strattera, Concerta, and Ritalin. And we just decided that we couldn't do this. We didn't think it was natural. We didn't know whether it was the best thing for him. We didn't want him to be on medication the rest of his life. So a friend of mine heard Peter speak at a seminar, and she says, you've got to have him talk to him to see, my son. The biggest thing is I had hope for the first time because I felt nobody understood that my son was bright and that he couldn't keep up with work. He couldn't even do the work in class. So this was an opportunity for me to have a little bit of hope that I didn't have before.
That's great. Could you tell me what was going on with your child in school before Power Learning?
Before, he couldn't write. He couldn't keep up with classwork. I would literally go after school and sit with him to just keep up with the actual work he did during the school day, never mind homework. So he just could not keep up with the pace.
Mm-hmm. What support did you get from the school?
It really felt like it was me against the world. I would go to these IEP meetings, and they're like, Michael can't do this, Michael can't do that, Michael can't do that. And it was like 10 people against me. And nobody was really on my side. And they kind of threw everything onto me saying, you've got to do something. We're doing everything we can, but you've got to do something. So as far as support, I would say no support. Because I feel now, learning more about empowered learning, that everybody has a unique way of learning, and it is not done in the school system. They do not acknowledge individuals. You're either a piece of the puzzle, and if you don't fit just right, they're not going to give you any help. So that's how I felt.
Okay. What were your thoughts about the initial process, the screening?
I was really intrigued with the screening. I never saw anything like it because it wasn't like going and having Michael sit down and take a written test. It wasn't something where, he had to do a number of questions and answer things or write or do math on the board. It was a physical test. It was actually looking at his developmental skills. I never realized that anything you do physically is going to affect how you learn. So it was real news to me. And seeing what wasn't developed and was developed, it kind of even made me feel bad because I used to yell at him all the time when he didn't do his homework. And it made me realize that he wasn't just fidgeting and he just wasn't being rude or not paying attention. He really had developmental problems that was inhibiting him from sitting still. So, like I said, it was brand new to me. It made total sense what Peter was saying, and I was really impressed with the screening.
Okay. What made you decide to actually sign up with the LSA?
I think this is the only place that gave me hope. I feel that there was no other answers. Nobody really cared. And when I called up Peter, told him about my issues with Michael, he truly understood, and he truly was certain that he could help me.
That's wonderful. Okay. What did you start to see, when did you start to see dramatic results in your child?
It was interesting because I made the mistake of not being consistent in going. So I would believe that because of his underdeveloped problems, maybe he could have done this program in a year. It took him 2 years. So I think that it's really important to be consistent. Because I wasn't consistent, it took him longer. What was interesting is after he graduated the program, 6 months after, he just grew in leaps and bounds. So whatever he learned or whatever needed to be developed, it just skyrocketed. And he was doing great in everything. Michael will never be an A student. I mean, he probably could if he studied really hard, but that's not his character. But I'm just so happy that he's passing everything, and that he does get B's and he does get C's. He's very good in writing. He could never write before. And he got 2 years in a row in high school awards in English.
Wow.
So this is something I feel was a gift that he would have never had the opportunity.
Yes. Okay. Before ELC, did you seek help anywhere else, and what were the results?
I did. I went to a neurologist because in my school system they will not test the child till 3rd grade. And from preschool on, every single year, the teachers would say there's something wrong with Michael. And that hurt a lot. And I said, what? And they're like, I can't say. And some said check his eyesight, some said check his hearing. But I wanted to move along the process for him to get help. So I did take him to a neurologist, which said he has ADD, put him on medication.
Yeah.
That was the protocol.
Okay. Well, I could ask you how ELC benefited your child, but I think you kind of answered that question already.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I really had 2 in the program, and my second son had never had any attention deficit problems, but he had terrible vision processing. And it ended up that he was bright and he quit college, which infuriated me. And I felt that he just wasn't putting in the time. What I found in college, if you neglect things with your children, and even if they're bright or they get by, there's a lot of reading in college. And with his visual processing being off, he could not stay on a page. His eyes were sporadically going all over the page. So I actually had 2 children that their lives changed permanently because of this program. And basically, I'm thrilled with it. I really am.
Great. Now, what would be the message you would give to other parents whose children are having the same problem and struggling right now?
The message I would give to parents is that you have a window of opportunity before your children are adults to help them. And as a parent, whether you could afford it or not, you want to give your children all the tools to succeed in life. To me, this is an investment, and it was well worth the investment because it changed their lives permanently. I can look at my children who are almost adults now, one is, and say I have no regrets. I did everything possible for them, and I don't think they'd have the opportunities or feel self-confident if I didn't put them in this program. So my advice to the parents is be persistent, invest in it, look at it as an investment in their college, and put the money in, put the time in, and see it through, because it is an incredible program, and you only get back what you put into it.
True, very true.